So this episode was spicy, to say the least. This episode was definitely tropey and cliche, I'm not going to deny that, but it was surprisingly engaging, and honestly, considering the whole prisoner of war angle that we ended off with, I think this is to be expected. Alice would not really want to harm Isuka because she obviously has feelings for him, but also sees him as someone who could be a very good benefit for her side of the war, where you have Rin actually fully committing to trying to kill the prisoner of war, who she believes has kind of indoctrinated her princess. I actually like Rin even more than ever after watching this episode. I said it last week and I've said it quite a few times. I like how Rin is very cautious and sees this as a pointless love affair, basically. You're the princess, he's a soldier in the enemy's side. Like, you have to kill them. It's foolish to think that you can have this relationship, even if you don't think you're in love with him. Even a friendship just cannot happen because they're born on two opposite sides. That's how the war for 100 years has always gone. So I definitely had those fan service and cliche moments where, you know, you have the bath scene, you get a little bit of eye candy, then she comes out, obviously the towel falls. It's interesting how they are able to turn a scene that generally put into any other author's hands would just be embarrassment on both sides, and then kind of for whatever reason, they don't kill each other, they don't have anything really all that bad happen. They turn it into a fairly empowering moment for both of these characters, and one of the best reasons for this scene working so well is because of Miss actually having this astral crest that kind of shows Isuka's true colors. The scene about showing Alice's crest, and it's honestly impressive. Up until now, we've seen honestly a mini tattoo on all these characters. Her entire back is covered in a gorgeous piece of art that obviously, depending on who you ask, would either be monstrous or quite indoctrinating. To have a question after having, she is dense in a certain sense, she kind of is clueless, and yeah, it was just there because, oh, here's the embarrassment, she drops her towel, he gets a little bit of eye candy, and I was expecting Issa to be like, oh my god, she's a female because this is anime and we can't have male characters see a female body without overreacting like they've never seen a piece of ass before. What ended up happening, because Isuka's a respectable character, he didn't get flustered because he's seen bodies before. In a world with as much technology as they have, there's no way he can't not be at least a little normal in the face of something like this. It's nice how it turned into a scene where she was very interested in his opinion on that crest. I think it's very fascinating to have a show where this symbol can be a make it or break it for someone. This evil witch, this horrible person because you have something you were born with, or you're someone who's like, oh, you're going to use that power for great. And his response to the question she asked about what you think of this is something I really like, because he does not give a damn about him. He's like, the captain on my side, I respect her more than anything, and her crest doesn't define her. Your crest doesn't define you. I could not give a damn. The reason I fight isn't because of a stupid symbol. It's because each side have different ideologies and beliefs that we have grown up with, and that's why I fight. You're a rival, you're not some object, you're not some witch, you're just a worthy rival to myself. And of course, Rin's gonna take that personally, because that's the princess, it's the most powerful fighter on their kingdom, or one of the most powerful, so that's something she's gonna get kind of upset with. But for someone like Alice, that's all she's ever wanted, was to be seen as a person worthy of fighting, rather than, you're this witch, you're defined by this symbol, you're defined by your actual actions. And I think that actually represents the two's connection a lot better than the random coincidences that they meet up and they kind of have these flirtatious natures and banters and things like that. I like how they turned such a scene that was all about sex and eye candy and things like that, but because you kept Isuka so stone cold and collected, it really allowed her to even drop her guard. And obviously you knew she was going to get flustered because she dropped her towel eventually. It was nice to see a scene that served both as fan service eye candy but also empowering moments for the narrative, to bring a scene that generally wouldn't work in any way into something that kind of fits multiple perspectives of what you watch anime for. And honestly, I like Isuka's just casual response afterwards. Hey, can you pick up your towel? Because honestly, you're flashing your tits all over the place. And she wanted to see him naked. I'm like, okay, a little bold of you, a little rash, but you know what? To be expected with these characters, if I'm being honest. Rin's whole assassination attempt I really liked. Obviously, you knew it was going to go through. He's a powerful warrior, even if he's handcuffed. There's no way he was going to die, especially considering how casual they were directing Alice in her room, which, honestly, I love seeing a knife trying to stab her boy and then her just be like, what should I have for dinner? Don't want to make Rin mad, goes in, and then she kind of goes She-Hulk. It was nice to have this episode, honestly, for being an episode that was, if you really break it down, a lot slower paced. This was, by all rights of the definition, a setup episode. This was getting Miss and Jin and the others just all kind of situated and trying to rescue are a boy, as you also have this crazy glasses girl who just you can't trust as far as you can throw her, but is clearly manipulating the chessboard to exactly how she wants, and I kind of fear what's going to happen with Miss because she already is fine betraying these characters once she realizes that that temporary tattoo that they got that makes it look like they're a witch isn't also temporary. Who knows what's going to happen. She's crazy. I love how normal she seemingly looks, but honestly, how psychotic yandere she feels. That whole situation in the first half was nice to kind of get that set up, and honestly, there's a lot of emotional tension there. I mean, they definitely got lucky with the whole idea of that technology that you can place a crest on them for a temporary week. You might be able to argue it was a little contrived and a little convenient that, you know, you get something that could literally destroy her life and they introduce a piece of technology we had no knowledge of. But if you've been fighting for 100 years, it kind of makes sense that you'd have ways to blend in with the enemy eventually. It's not like this war just started and they magically made this technology. And look at the technology we've already seen on their side. It's no surprise that they can blend in with witches and things like that. So it does make it feel nice, and I like how Jin really did take priority. And honestly, Jin continues to take priority, even with driving the car and things like that. He feels more like the captain than Miss ever has, and honestly, I still stick by what I said. Jin would have made a better captain with Miss being more of a side supporting character, but this is the hand we've been dealt and we're going to deal with it. Luckily, Miss actually having that crest should provide for a lot of character development, so you hope anyway, especially considering how she's kind of the main plot device for both sides right now, it kind of feels like. So it was nice to have that kind of be like interesting setup, nothing extraordinary, but when we got on to obviously our boy Isuka's side and just, you know, the cutesy moment. The cutesy moments I've just always enjoyed. I like the growing relationship, I like the romance, I like the will they won't they. It's cute, it's fun. Sure, it's what we've seen before, but put into a setting about life or death war, it does become something special in my opinion. Nothing extraordinary, nothing revolutionary. I'm not here to say it's a masterpiece, 10 out of 10. Oh my god, I've never seen anything like this. It just has a lot of unfamiliar elements mixed with familiar elements, and it becomes Kimi-san. It becomes our last Crusade. It's a very solid watch for me, and even though I do wish it did go in a more serious direction for a majority of each episode, where it was more like both Isuka and Alice are a lot more serious rather than a lot more goofy. More so Alice, but you gotta sell those figures, I suppose. Once I readjusted my thought process of what the show wanted to be versus what I was hoping it was going to be, I can still appreciate the show, maybe not as much as I originally wanted to, but it's still a show that I have fun watching, and I do look forward to watching it every single week. It's honestly the show I look forward to watching the most on Wednesdays, and I love both of the shows I watch on Wednesday. It's just a show that it screams fun. It really, really does. It's not revolutionary every episode, but there are moments that really do define an episode into being something a bit more special. A scene where her bathrobe drops and she's completely butt-ass naked, and you can actually turn it into a fairly empowering scene with a slight hint of comedy. It's something that I do appreciate. The voice actors clearly had some fun. Honestly, Rin's fluctuation from serious killer to uh-oh, my mistress is about to beat my ass, I think was fun, and there was some fun comedy. I like the idea of our girl just being so clueless, locking herself up with Isuka, then realizing how the hell are we going to go to the bathroom, or how the hell are we going to bathe, and having to bring her once again back in her own embarrassment. There definitely is a lot of contrived cliche moments with how she just so casually forgets that he's there so they can have fan service, but the fact that they turned a fan service scene, multiple fan service scenes, into something quite more than that, while also still being that eye candy, is something I do have to respect, at least a little bit. Let me know your thoughts and feelings though on this week's episode of Our Last Crusade. What do you think, and where do you think this setup is going to go with episode 8 next week? If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like to show your support, and hit that subscribe button if you happen to be new around here. So until next time everyone, please take care and have a good one.